Hey there. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Ancy coming at you. Happy Labor Day to you, thinking about and praying for our fellow Floridians. My head coach, Coach Kurt, whom I've known for 15 plus years. He lives in Homestead, just south of Miami, and it sounds like Hurricane Dorian, if I remember the name. Hey there, Christy. Good afternoon to ya. Are you still in the Smoky Mountains, or did you make your way back home? Kind of curious. All right, so I'm letting people know, hey there, is that I've selected my book for September, and it's called Dare to Lead, and it was referred to me by one of my book study members. Hey there, good afternoon to you, Greg, out in Seattle. I hope it's cooler out in Seattle than it is here. It's quite hot. So anyways, this is our book. It's written by Brene Brown. She has a PhD and she has spoken on TED Talk. And, oh, you're home. Okay, got it, Christy. Well, glad you made it home safely. All right, so it was Christina Leo is one of my book study members and who also attends my monthly mastermind. She recommended this book, that being just on this past Friday. And, of course, I ran off to Amazon and ordered it, and it showed up in a day. So I just got this yesterday morning, or was it Saturday even? It just came like lickety-split. It turned around so quickly, which Amazon is known for, isn't it? Anyways, this looks to be a very good book as it relates to leading teams of people or being in a community of people where you're working together and wanting to create specific outcomes together. It seems as though she's authored several books, and it seems like one of her main topics that she talks about is this, the ability to be vulnerable and how vulnerability is a strength in leadership. But she further clarifies, because a lot of people apparently had a misunderstanding of vulnerability as this whole, cry in your sleeve and look at all my woes and problems, and, this will just open up the floodgates of communication as I do so. And she's saying, no, that's not it at all, and how some people had completely misinterpreted what she was saying. Anyways, I just found so many gems in this book. I'm already through 2 or 3 chapters here, and I really, really like what I'm reading. I do lead a team, and so I was able to just resonate with so much of what she was talking about. But she is talking about creating what she calls a safe container. And a safe container means setting up an environment that makes it very conducive to have open problem-solving conversations without blame and shame and pointing the finger and a lot of unproductive negative emotions that can often happen in a workplace. And then when that happens, people retreat. They go, forget about it. It looks like this is just a place where people do fighting and sparring instead of anything productive. And so then people shut down when things go into shaming mode and, these negative emotions. And so she says the leader is the one who needs to set up that environment of safety. She calls it a safety container. And but what I really like about this gal, she's extremely data-centric. I don't want like fluffy ideas. I want to know stuff that work. It's got the data and proven in the marketplace and within businesses and teams of people. And so she does a lot of studies and data gathering. So she refers to Google's 5-year study on highly productive teams, and it was called Project Aristotle. Oh, okay. Yep. Glad to hear, Christy. That is it. Project Aristotle found that the number one attribute of successful or productive teams is psychological safety. Psychological safety. And that means team members feeling safe to take risks and be vulnerable in front of each other was far and above the most important of the 5 dynamics that set successful teams apart. So psychological safety. It makes it possible to give tough feedback and have difficult conversations without the need to tiptoe around the truth. Like if you're forthcoming and then someone is so gravely offended that they have to leave the room or they can't continue to be in the meeting, that is very unproductive. So it's knowing how to set up that environment where you can have forthright conversations. And it really got me to thinking, because I'm like, well, we pretty much do that in my team. And I know one of the sayings that I've had, maybe it's because I have a marketing team, I'm not sure, but I tell people, don't fall in love with your ideas. That's a dangerous thing to do. Instead, you put it to the court of public opinion. In other words, we all are swimming with ideas, and it could be anyone from the customer support manager on up to the marketing director who comes up with the next great idea. And so it becomes a more, I don't know if democratic is the right way to state it, but it's not about who's got the best idea, and they also become very egocentric around their idea. And when you become egocentric, in love with your idea, it can really be a big challenge to being logic-based and data-based in a business. So anyway, she goes on to say, in psychological safe environments, people believe that if they make a mistake, others will not penalize or think less of them. So in other words, you're not going to get the best of people when they feel like anytime they put out an idea and then, oh, look at Joe just came up with another stupid idea. Did you hear what Joe came up with in today's meeting? Man, well, why is he even invited into the meetings? That kind of stuff. They also believe that others will not resent or humiliate them when they ask for help or information. In other words, it's void of ego. It's just the way I run my company it's for the ultimate benefit. We're all rowing in the same boat together, and there's not someone who's just like the big grand poobah. Okay, so this belief comes about when people both trust and respect each other, and it produces a sense of confidence that the group won't embarrass, reject, or punish someone for speaking up. Thus, psychological safety is a taken for granted belief about how others will respond when you ask a question, seek feedback, admit a mistake, or propose a possibly wacky idea. Most people feel a need to manage, listen to this part, interpersonal risk to retain a good image, especially at work, and especially in the presence of those who formally evaluate them. In other words, if they don't have psychological safety, they're going to hold back because they're in self-preservation mode, that for fear of reprisal, criticism, ridicule, humiliation, they're not comfortable to do that because of the blowback. Okay? I have to admit, what this comes to mind for me is how families operate. There's healthy families, and then there's not so healthy families. That to me, this is all, when I read this, I think, well, leadership really begins in the home. Do you have a healthy way for people to have outlets, be free to speak their opinion without, that being coming from the parents or other siblings with smackdown, put downs, etc. And that's just an emotionally immature and abusive kind of environment. When people can't be grown up enough, that being the leaders, it always starts with the leaders. The leaders setting up an environment that's conducive to mutual growth and benefit of everyone in the group, including learning how to best handle people when maybe they do say silly things and this and that, and when they see your leadership modeled in how you interact and communicate with people, that's the best way to learn leadership of all. So, cite what she does say, I like this. Well, actually, I'll finish the previous paragraph. This need is both instrumental about this managing interpersonal risk is what she's talking about. And we all have this innate biological wiring for self-preservation. It's just how we're wired. So promotions and rewards may depend on impressions held by bosses and others, and socio-emotional. We simply prefer approval over disapproval. No one likes to have that feeling of disapproval, and if everything is being disapproved, knocked down, pretty soon they go, well, this isn't pleasant. I think I'll just shut up and listen instead. And then, and what I call the mutual brain trust becomes atrophied. I don't want atrophy with my brain trust. And my brain trust is my team. It's the best thing I have going for me because I live in the information content creation space. And so it requires this synapsing across mutual brains to create this massive brain trust. And if I stymie those synapses between individuals by, the less emotionally mature means of communication, blaming, shaming, etc., that's going to shut down the powerhouse of my company. Can you see, folks? I need that to just be flowing and flowing comfortably, and for people to be okay that, hey, so maybe I didn't come up with the best idea, but I'm participating in the group and I'm giving ideas and it's being valued. It's being valued and respected. So I really have to do that because I've had someone who was in customer support now move into a very high profile marketing position, which is my son, for content expansion through video marketing. And if I didn't have this more open kind of platform for people to feel comfortable disclosing their thoughts, opinions, and feelings, the brain trust, done. Pull the lever down, energy zapping down to zero. And then it's all gonna fall on this brain? No thanks. Okay, can't imagine some companies lead that way. You mean with having an open brain trust, Greg? Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with my upbringing, quite frankly. But, okay, I'll just read a little bit more about this and then we'll have to give it a wrap because I'm going to a neighborhood picnic. Just some neighbors right around the other bend. So items that frequently show up as things that get in the way of psychological safety in teams and groups includes judgment, unsolicited advice giving, interrupting, and sharing outside the team meeting. The behaviors that people need from their team or group almost always include listening, staying curious, being honest, and keeping confidence. So I'm just gonna say, at an incubator level, I have that with my mastermind groups that are a part of negativity. Yeah, it all has to do with leadership. Everything comes down to leadership. Appreciate your comments on that, Greg. Yeah, so with a mastermind, it allows you to exercise some muscles, leadership muscles that people have never been given the opportunity to exercise, to actually utilize. And so my company, being primarily marketing and content creation, it's a very constant flow of ideas amongst different project managers, etc., and about keeping that really open. Because, and think about it, for companies that need to be innovators, man, you really have to get with the program on adapting to this style of leadership, or you can't innovate. It just all comes to a grinding halt. So I think for the fact that the type of work I do, it lends itself very well to this. But it's interesting, though, she's spoken in the military. The biggest challenge that she had was speaking to nerds. People who are like creating apps and whatnot, because she said what was really funny about them is the way they want to control and manage human behavior is with an app rather than just, no, you actually have to have conversations and talk this stuff through. And but that's just their way of, that's their behavioral standpoint is, oh, we'll create an app for that. And we'll create behavioral outcomes that are positive by the structure of the app, etc. Anyways, so that was the group that she actually found the biggest challenge with in terms of adapting into a different style of leadership. But anyways, if you want to be an innovative company, if you want to be a forerunner, I think this is really important. So dare to lead. I'm going to give it a wrap. So thanks everyone for joining me on this hot Labor Day. Whew. And stay safe, and we'll see you leading to the work week here. All right, so grab your copy. I'll talk to you later. Oh, one last thing. Make sure you go to AnnSiegMentor.com is how you gain access to my private inner circle leadership group. And that's where we actually talk about the book is in there. That is a separate Facebook group page. So go to AnnSiegMentor.com. Hey there, Pam. Thank you. I'm getting mighty starved. I can't wait. You know how that is. You're going to go and eat somewhere and you want to show up hungry, right? going to be lots of good food. Alrighty, till then, bye-bye, everyone.